Hi, everyone. I woke up this morning with some words in my mind, and I really believe it was something that God wanted me to share with you guys. It was a section of a verse, and I'm going to be referring to my notes because I wrote everything down after I got up, so that I can clearly try and relay this to you. It was a partial verse that I heard, and it was from Leviticus 11. Verse 44 and 45, actually verse 45, where God says, "Be holy, for I am holy." And I recognized this because earlier this year, God showed me what this means, what this actually means. And the reason why I was asking was because I was driving in the area where I live in Canada is very religious area. And what I mean by that is like they take the Bible very literally. They're all about judgment. And anyways, there's signs often put up along the highway where I drive. And this one sign, earlier this year said, quoted this verse, and it said, "Be holy, for I am holy." And so I thought, what? It sure sounds judgmental the first time you hear it, right? Be holy. Do something to yourself to make yourself holy. And so anyways, I asked God about this because I was like, how is that verse anyways? I just ask everything now. Since I've started waking up 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, I just ask everything, even if actually he's explained it to me before. And so I remember earlier this year he did explain this to me, and then this morning the same verses were going through my head as I was laying there, and I felt like, well, I think he has this to share with you guys, and so I'm going to share it with you. And first I'll read this verse. It actually is talking about this chapter. Before he says this, he's talking about things that are animals and stuff that they would eat and whether they were clean and unclean. And so this is the context of this, right? So here it comes to the last part of verse 45. It says, "For I am the Lord who brings you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God, that you shall therefore be holy, for I am holy." And so it sounds at first glance like you have to do something, right? But anyways, I'm very sure that God here wants to destroy some religion for you because he did it for me. So my first verse that I actually want to go to is I'm gonna do it the way, I'm just gonna tell you the way God brought me through it, because I believe that that's probably how he's going to connect it with you, for you. So Genesis 17 verse 1, this verse says, "When Abraham was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abraham and said to him, 'I am Almighty God. Walk before me and be blameless.'" I'm reading out of the New King James Version, by the way. I just learned, for the past over 20 years, I can find everything in this Bible. That's why I use it. That's the only reason. But so here we're talking, he says, "Walk before me." He tells Abraham, "Walk before me and be blameless." And I dug into this because what you need to do is, and I'm going to do another video about this aside, how I learned to study my Bible and how I learned to find out what the true meanings of the words were, and the meanings of what God actually meant. How do you obviously it's by the Spirit too, but so I looked up these words, and actually the word before, so as in walk before, actually means face. It's actually the word for face. It's the word panim. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Panim. It means face. So he's like, walk, face me. And then it says, and be blameless. And so the word be in here is actually a Hebrew word that means to exist. And so it's just saying to be, to exist. And then blameless, the word blameless is actually the word tamim, and it means whole, perfect, complete, and without blemish. And so what is God saying here? You know, I might just post my notes on the description somewhere, so you can actually just see how I worked through this, and maybe it'll help you to study it too. But yeah, maybe I'll do that. For sure, the message that I got out of this, I'll post. It might be a little bit messy, but you can kind of get, you know, just an idea. And so walk before me and be blameless now turns into something else. It is actually meaning, like, he's saying walk facing me, to face something. So he's talking about things that we've heard in the New Testament too, right? Face to face, we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. And so here, this is the interpretation by the Spirit that I got earlier this year. And again, I looked it up this morning. This is the interpretation of what he's actually saying here. It means walk face to face with me and be perfect or complete. Meaning just be, like, you have to have the right meaning of be here, to exist. So you could almost say walk face to face with me and exist as that perfect. Anyways, you'll see this as we go along here. The next verse that I wanted to take you to is Galatians 1:15-16, where Paul is talking to the Galatians, saying, when it pleased God who separated me from my mother's womb and called me through his grace to reveal his Son in me. This is the part that I want to highlight here. He is saying that God called him through his grace to reveal his Son in me. And now I quickly want to reference Philippians 3:17, which actually says, brethren, join me in following my example and note those who so walk as you have us for a pattern. So this is important because Paul is actually saying he's a pattern for us. And if he's saying God has called him through grace to reveal his Son in me, then this is a pattern for us too. This is what we're supposed to be seeing, that this is what we are called to, for God to reveal his Son in us. Okay, so reveal here is indicating something that's already there, to be revealed. It's not something you need to get. It's something that's already there. And so then we're going to go back to Leviticus 11:45, and we're going back to that statement, you shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. Now, holy here, I looked it up. I looked up the word in the Strong's Concordance, and the Hebrew word, I can't remember what it is, but the Hebrew word there, just in the Strong, sometimes they don't have very good translations, I guess, or meanings written. It literally was saying to me that it just means holy, sanctified. Well, that doesn't really give me an indication of what the word actually means. So sometimes you have to do more digging. And so I went into and I was on the Blue Letter Bible studying this, and there's a Hebrew lexicon. I can't remember what it's called. So I looked in that section, and and here I found what fit. And the word holy meaning here, pure and clean. And the reason why I know this fits and this is the right meaning is because this is actually the whole context of this chapter, or the section before this, and what God is talking about in this section is what is clean and unclean, right? And so this fits with what the meaning really is. Holy meaning pure and clean. Now, in Leviticus 10:10, this is where I confirmed it, and in a few other verses which I might mention, but Leviticus 10:10 says that you may distinguish between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean. So right here, he's tying holy and clean, unholy and unclean. So we can see what holy means. And we can get our definition from the Bible confirming itself in the definitions and in the context that it's in. And so here he's saying, so they may distinguish between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean. And so unholy equals unclean, holy equals clean. And so what is God telling Abram? Ultimately, he is telling him, you're clean. Okay, so this is the message: walk before me and be clean. Anyways, further in Leviticus and Isaiah and Ezekiel, there are also places where holy and clean are tied together. You can search that up. If you can look it up on Bible Hub, you can look it up on Blue Letter Bible. And there's also Isaiah 66 verse 20, where God talks about my holy mountain Jerusalem, and then he later in the verse calls it a clean vessel. And so this holy, clean, pure, that's where I'm getting the meaning from. So I just wanted to show you that. And now, let me just see if there was anything else in here that I wanted to talk about first. So I hope these verses, these are the verses that God showed me that tied these things together, that he was speaking to me. And so walk to face with him. So he's saying, walk face to face with me and be or exist from perfectness, from the holiness, from what we just said, from the fact that you're clean. And now I'm going to read the message, because this is the message I got out of it for you. And it's for me. I know it's for me, but it's for all of us, actually. And I will post this. And here's the message. I'm just going to read it out for you, because it's amazing. And I hope you get it. And I hope that and I pray that you have eyes to see and that you have ears to hear and that you receive this message, because it is awesome. All right, here we go. The message. It is Jesus that is being revealed in us. Remember, we talked about this verse. It is Jesus that God desires to reveal in us. Something that, like, he's literally saying a reveal, as in something that's always been there. So there's someone in you that's always been there. And guess what? Can we say Jesus is holy? Clean? Yeah, of course. And so here it is. It is Jesus that is being revealed in us. Jesus is the Lord, the Holy One, being revealed from within. The pattern of Jesus Christ is being revealed in you. Be holy as I am holy means be clean. Exist this way. Walk face to face with me so you can see who it is in you, so you can see Jesus revealed in you. We are not striving to become clean or holy. God wants you to see you are already holy. You have always been clean. In religion, we are taught we need to do to become. And it's easy for religion. This is just a side. It is easy for religion to just take a verse like this and to just interpret it this way, because this is the whole mindset that we've been fallen to, is that we have to do something to get to get to who we already are, to get to who made us when we are already there. Okay, so he said, in religion, we are taught we need to do to become. Jesus says, no, this isn't the way it is. You act out of who you are. This is why I had to do away with sin, because it gave you an identity that was all wrong. And you thought you were separated. And you thought you were unclean. And so you acted out of that identity. Who told you you were naked? That you were dirty and needed to hide yourself from me? It wasn't me. It was sin. But sin is dead. I took care of it and you are dead to it. So you can know you are my son, my daughter. You are mine. Excuse me. You are of me, born of me, just like me, clean, never been dirty, never been unacceptable, never been unloved. You are holy because I am holy, simply because I am your Father. You don't need to do anything. Did you choose who you were born to on this earth? Just the same, you didn't choose to be born of me. I made you. I chose you for myself and loved you before the foundation of the world. To exist as holy, perfect, clean, in my love. No prayer or thing you do is taking you in or out of me. You've always been here in me. When you walk face to face with me, you will see this, and you will just be who you are. When you live out of completeness, you will bear the fruit of life in your body, mind, and soul. You will experience me and my life, giving life to your mortal body, giving life to your mind, joy, peace. These are all manifestations of me. Just keep walking face to face with me. If you see me, you see the Father. And you will see me, and when you see me, you shall be just like me. You're just like your Father. So that's the message, and I just wrote something underneath this to make the point, more for my clarity probably. But God wasn't telling Abraham to be something he was not. When he said, "Be holy because I am holy," he didn't tell him, "Be this because I'm like this, so you better be like this." He was telling him how to stay aware of who he really is by looking at the Lord and having a face-to-face relationship. What is the risk of not doing this? Well, it's just taking on the wrong identity again. It's putting on a different image and acting out of that. And what do you experience? Well, if you experience life when you're looking at God, when you're looking at Jesus, if you experience life in his identity, then you're going to experience death out of the wrong one. And so this wrong identity is what sin worked up for you. This is the identity sin showed you. And so when you believe that, when you believe you're dirty, when you believe that there's something that you're not quite, up there, that you gotta come to God, after you've done something, cleaned yourself up somehow, whatever you believe that is, you're just now acting out of that image that you believe you are, out of that identity that you believe you are, and it's only going to produce death. Unfortunately, we do this. Because religion has taught us that we need to get rid of these actions that we do and stuff like that. It doesn't tell us that, wait a second, these things that you're doing aren't sins. The sin is what's causing you to do these things. And you're just acting out of something, and God knows this, and he's patient and gracious with us, because he knows he just needs to show you the right image. That's literally what you need. That's literally what you need to look at. And since we know that the Lord is not willing that any should perish, we know that he doesn't want you experiencing that death that comes from looking at the wrong thing, looking at taking on a wrong image. He wants us to choose life. And so you're simply going to do that by continually looking at him for your true image. And so this is what this is about. This is basically what he's saying here is, here, look at this, because this is who you are. You're clean. You've never been dirty. You can go through it again, or you can read it when I post the message. But and this is something just to meditate on. It's not something now that you have to do something with, by the way. Like, sometimes we think, oh, now what do I do? Now what do I have to pray now that I know this thing, or now that God spoke this to me? It's not about that. He's just communicating with you. This is a love message from your Father, and that's it. And he just wants you to take it. And so meditate on it and see what God tells you about it, and let me know if he shows you more. And I pray that this blesses you today. Thank you for listening.